I feel like pricing your home should not be that difficult of a decision because it's solely based on the current market conditions. We all know where the problem stems from, and that's the emotional attachment that most homeowners have to their house because, you know, it's their house. So it must be worth more than everyone else's house, right? But you have to understand, when a real estate agent goes to price a house for a seller that wants to sell, it's not like they're just pulling some number out of their butt and just saying, hey, this is what your house is worth. No, they're actually going online and they're looking at comparable properties to the one that that seller has and looking at how those have performed in the past few months in this current market. So they're looking at what the list price was, what the sales price was, how many days on the market was it there for, did it actually have to get price dropped? Was it sitting longer than a few weeks? Like, what happened? They'll be looking at all the things that could affect the sale of their potential seller. So that's where the number is coming from. And I'll always tell my sellers or people who are even just asking me, hey, what do you think my house is worth and how much could we get? I always tell them, look, I wish we could get the price that you want from this house, because guess what? If we got that price, then both of us get more money. But we have to base our price off of reality. And the reality we base it off of is the current market conditions and what other homes are selling for in that area. Now, I feel like every real estate agent has their own pricing strategy, so call it. Whether they're known for always listing their properties high, always listing their properties low, whether they have some weird arbitrary number like 750 at the end of their price because for some reason that helps, but they're always gonna have a reason for it. So in this video, I'm gonna be going over just the basics of pricing low, pricing at market value, and pricing high, and kind of what you should expect from each and what's working in this current market. So I'm going to be working from low to high, and again, I'm doing this for the 2024 real estate market. What is working right now in New Hampshire, because I know other states are actually seeing kind of less activity on the real estate market, and that's not really the case in New Hampshire. It's still a very hot market. So what do you think the advantages of listing low would be? Chances are your first thoughts are probably for people to look like it's a good deal or to get more eyes on the property, and you'd be exactly right. When you list low, you're going to attract a lot more buyers to that potential property because everyone can spot a deal when a deal is there, especially in this market when buyers who are serious are literally scouring the websites just looking for new properties to go take a look at, especially if they're having issues getting other offers accepted. They are eager and they are ready to put them in. This is going to lead to more people at the open house, and chances are more offers for you to actually look at when that time comes. But there is a little bit of a problem with this, is because again, you're listing below market value. So if you have a house worth $325,000 and you list it at $275,000, everyone's gonna be like, oh my goodness, this is such a good deal. We have to go look at this. We have to do this. And yeah, it's great because your open house is gonna be exploding. There'll be cars everywhere trying to get in, but you're also going to be bringing in kind of unqualified buyers. Because yes, they might qualify at the 275, but maybe that's their top, or maybe their only budget allows them to go to 300,000, and this one's going to go at 325 or more. So like, yes, you're going to be having more activity, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have more qualified buyers for that property. You could just be essentially wasting your and your seller's time and having more and more people come in, which could make it confusing if you have 25 offers and only like 8 are actually good. It just makes everything a little bit more messy. Now, listing at market value, this is really a great idea in this market. The reason being is because, again, buyers are accustomed to how the market's working, especially here in New Hampshire. So if they see a house that's listed at a good price for that house, they know it's not below market, like, oh, this place is going to be super busy and going to have a ton of offers, but they're like, no, this is a good price and this is going to go above list, but probably not 50,000 over like the low price one goes. This one will go probably more like 10, 15,000 over. But again, it's because it's starting at the higher number. So in this case, it's worth 325. They list it at 325. Well, this one might go for 335, 340, more in that range where it's a little bit not a big of a gap, I should say, than the lower price one. But again, this one, your open house might not have as many attendees, but the people that do come are going to be more qualified for it because they have in their mind, again, homes are going over in this market. So if it's listed at 325, chances are it's going to go a few thousand over. So they're probably pre-approved for 330, 340, 350. So they have that room to work and they are a well-qualified buyer. So again, doing this, you're going to get good amount of people looking, not an overwhelming amount, but you're also going to have probably multiple offers in this and still be able to choose which one works best for you. All right, so now for listing high and my thoughts on this. I've never been a big fan of listing high, especially in this market, because you should really be taking advantage of the market we're in, where if you list accurately or even a little low, you're going to get so much more activity and chances are so much higher of a price because people are going to be bidding it up. Where if you list high, essentially you don't have that happening, because again, buyers are bidding properties up, but buyers are not stupid. They understand, hey, this property is listed 50 grand more than it's worth. They're not going to go bid that up and you're going to have multiple offers on that. That's not going to be how it works. And even when they see a high property, a lot of them in their mind just think, again, in this market, everything's going above list. So if this price is already overpriced in my mind, why would I even go look at it because someone else is going to pay more? Is the way they're thinking. It's not necessarily going to happen. Chances are with something like this, it's just going to sit on the market until they do a price drop or something, because again, nobody's really enticed to put in an offer lower than list because they just have it in their mind that that's not happening in this market. So it's a little bit of a weird ground where you're actually hurting yourself a little bit more. Now, a few things to follow up on this point of the high listings. If your home is in a super desirable location, super nice house, and there's little to no inventory coming up in that specific area you're in, well, chances are you can list high and it can still actually produce more offers because again, there's not much in that area. It's not necessarily your house, it's more the area that's helping that sell. Then another one for a good reason to list high is if you're selling an investment property. I feel like it's good to start high because even if you put it low, a lot of investors aren't going to be super bidding over and over for an investment property. They're a lot more price conscious when they're actually buying investment properties because again, they're trying to make money on it, not spend a ton of money. So if you list high with an investment property, chances are, yeah, you'll sell for lower than list, but at least you'll be able to start at that higher price point. Now again, each specific property is a little different. If you have a duplex and it's also kind of marketing towards regular buyers that might just use it to live in one unit and rent out the other one, well then the lower listing price could work because then you're having regular buyers also bidding on it that will bid higher than investors do. So it's a little bit tricky on that side, but again, every property is a little bit different. Then the last thing I wanted to mention is I've dealt with some older clients that still feel like it's the old ways of doing things where you list at a certain price and you're always going to get talked down a little bit, especially in real estate. But I tell them, look, that's not really the way it's happening right now. When properties sit, people think something's wrong with it. So it's better to go in at that lower price and hope for more offers than to start high and think someone's going to talk you down, because again, they're just not used to that. Buyers aren't used to talking people down right now because, well, they wish they could, but just nothing's doing that. So to conclude this video super quick, I think the best way to list a good house that's in good condition, just kind of a cookie cutter house, nothing super unique, is to just go in at market value right now. And that's going to draw in really good qualified buyers, a good amount of them that'll still produce multiple offers, but you won't be overwhelmed with listing low. And listing high, I just don't think is a smart idea because right now we're in a seller's market. So you might as well take advantage of it as a seller. So that's kind of the way it's looking in New Hampshire. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll catch you guys next week.